Okay, Mexican Joe here. We're going to go ahead and do the bratwurst that we started. We got all the pork for the other day. I've got the backwoods from LEM bratwurst mix. It does 25 pounds. I'm probably not going to get quite 25 pounds because I just noticed that when I thawed out some of my meat in the freezer, some of the meat I used from the other day, the pigs we had, some of the meat I grabbed from the freezer, I noticed it had bone in it, so I'm going to have to bone that out, but you've already seen that in the other videos. Now, what this calls for is you take this entire package, and you, to do 25 pounds, you're going to dissolve the entire seasoning pack into 25 ounces of water for 25 pounds of meat. If you need to break that down and not do quite so much, that math is really easy. I am not real good at that whole conversion between ounces and quarts or whatever, so I use my iPhone conversion little deal and found out how much water to get. Okay, so there's that. So, right off the bat, I'm going to pop this open. It feels like it's got a little Ziploc seal in here. So if I didn't want to use it all, I didn't have to. And smell it. It smells really good. Now this is warm water. It'll be cooled off by the time I'm done. Just dumped it in there. That'll get mixed in here in a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stir this up with this spoon that's got little holes in the back. And it's supposed to be tacky, from what the instructions say. Now, the instructions on this one did not say, and I'm just stirring it, trying to get all the lumps out. Push on the back side, squish them out. The instructions did not say how long this was to sit. On another packet that I used once before, it said to let it sit at least overnight. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to grind all this up, put it in this tote, this meat tote, and we're going to let it sit overnight. I'm going to cover it with some saran wrap. Now, a couple things we're going to do so I know what I'm doing here, how many pounds I've got, is I think I kind of talked a little bit of trash about the LEM meat tote. Somebody gave it to me. It's great. It's a great little meat tote. I like the big gray ones that I got back here from Sam's. The nice thing about this one is it fits under my grinder. Now, this is a Waring Pro grinder. It also, I believe, came from Gander Mountain. I want to say it was probably a little over $100. It's a really good grinder. I don't have any problems with it. Okay. So, we'll get to the grinder here in a minute. I want to show you what I was going to do. I mentioned this in the last video. Okay. Right now my scale is sitting on 0. Okay. I'm going to put the meat tote up there. And I'm going to reach underneath my scale. And I'm going to re-zero the scale with the tote on it. Essentially taking the weight of the tote out of my equation. A little under there. Come on. Got to do it. Hand back, see if it zeros. There we go. Okay, that is zeroed now. So now I know how much meat is going to be in the tote when I'm done. Okay, get that out of the way. The scale can come back out of the way now. Now I won't use the scale again until we get ready to bag the meat, and we'll bag it and then we'll weigh it so we know how much we got. Okay. This Waring came with a pusher. I was having a problem with I believe it was the black pusher that came with it. This is the meat pusher. I went out and I got a bigger one. It's a little bit bigger, and it helps me push the meat down a little more. I'll switch back and forth as we go. Okay. The basic parts are you've got 3 grinding wheels or grinding discs for it. Adjust it so I can see it a little bit better. There we go. All right. You got the large hole, the medium hole, and the small hole. I'm going to do it with the medium hole. I want a fine grind, but I don't want it too big. When I go to stuff the skins, I'll use the big hole. There's some grinders that have a very little hole, so it pushes the meat easier. I'll probably have to get one of those, but I don't know if these guys have it. So I'm going to get those 2 out of the way. Now, I cleaned all this stuff the other day. I just want to show you how simple this is. This is the meat tube. Now, this will go into the grinder, so nothing actually touches the grinder itself. This will slide in. Here's my grinding pusher. It just slides in there. I'm going to use my medium, I said, not my large. It's got 2 little slots on either side. It goes on there. Whoop, no, it doesn't. My blade goes on there, flat side facing out. So the little tapered end back here goes to the inside. It locks in. It's a little square lug. Now my little disc goes on. Now my cover goes on. Now, when I first saw this, I thought this was kind of cool, kind of scary looking. The only thing I came up with for these 4 teeth here is so once you get done using it, if it's torqued on there because of the pressure, you can stick a knife or something in there and break it loose. and that works better. Now, there's a little indent here on the side of this, so what you want to do is bring your grinder forward. You're going to move it left and right until you grab a hold of the grinding shaft that's inside, torque it down, and that's it. Now, that's full grind, that's backwards. Reverse is a momentary. Now, I know that on some of these grinders you have to keep your hand on the forward button to get it to grind. It's a safety issue, so you don't get your hands in here. Okay, this one doesn't do that. I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm gonna put my meat tote right there underneath my grinder. I've just washed all these totes. I washed all this stuff. I've re-sterilized the table. I continually wash my hands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open both of these bags from the other day. And I think I'm going to open one more bag that said it was cut up pork stew meat. And the other two I'll just have to do here off camera because I got to redo the meat. Okay. Grab my little rag I had, wipe my hands off. Okay, I think we're about ready to get started. Grab my Keith Stone here. Okay, and I've got my prepper mood music in the background. You might be able to hear it. If you hear it and you like it, great. If you hear it and you don't like it, suck it up, Buttercup. All right, turn the grinder on. Some of them, we start out with, this was a big fatty piece. You just kind of stick them in there. Now, some people say that it's better if you chop these up a little more like this, like stew meat. Push them in there. Gotta get them down in there, get them moving. Use the other pusher. I am not pushing. Okay, so Houston, we have a problem. I am probably not back far enough. Loosen this up. Oh, here we go. I just felt the grab. There it was. I was not back far enough. And you can touch this. There's nothing going to hurt you here. Okay, I was not back far enough, and glad I caught that. Okay. Makes me look stupid right now, but it's okay because hopefully you'll learn from that. Turn it back on. Now I can see this is moving. And I'm not even pushing. My pusher's out here. That's just the weight of the meat as it went in. Just let your grinder do its thing. Don't force it, you'll burn up your grinder while I'm sitting here playing and waiting. I'm going to start filling this up. Now for this grinder, there's a tray that can go on top. And when Thomas, my son, helps me, let me tilt this up just a little bit. Oh, apparently I got to loosen it a little bit first. There we go. Alright, so what you can do is you can preload stuff up here. That's what Thomas likes to do. He likes to have all this stuff loaded up here. And then he just sticks it in there, pushes it down, cram meat in there, not too big a chunk, push it down. Now again, a lot of this is just fat. We haven't gotten a lot of meat yet. Okay, now see, I'm not even putting effort on it. That's meat that got in that corkscrew in there. Get some chunks of meat up here. I was thinking I may also go up to the house, and this is supposed to be bratwurst, but I may end up throwing a little bit of jalapeno in there, just for fun. Should not be so big that you can't get it down in the hole. And I'm just putting a little weight on top. I'm gonna get rid of my little pusher, get my bigger one. Now a couple times throughout this process I'll get gristle and stuff that will get caught up in here and tendon, and that's what I use the reverse for, is to clear that out. And all you do is just feed and light pressure. I'm just barely putting pressure on this. It might be too big to go in there. I'll kick it off to the side. See, now it just all of a sudden starts, it's like whatever it just got a hold of. A little bit of bruised meat was in there, I guess. It's fine. Might have also got a piece of frozen meat in there, because that'll actually get chucked up into the blades a lot quicker. And you can actually cut it a lot better. Some of this, a lot of this is fat, but you can see the meat's got a lot darker color on it. Get a clean rag back here, keep wiping your hands off. Keep pushing. And that's it. That's the gist of it. We're going to keep going here. Like I said, I got quite a few pounds here to go. Oh, look, we're getting some good fat in there. And here in a little bit, I'll give you another shot. We'll show you how much we got done here, and we'll go from there, okay? See you here in a couple minutes. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to mention in here as I'm going through this is, I noticed when we processed the hogs the other day, I was just telling the guys, okay, we'll use that for sausage. I'm going to do some sausage. And they just grabbed chunks and just kind of threw it in the pot. So what I ended up with was quite a few pieces that are actually small roasts. I can't get those down the tube. I'm going to have to cut these and chunk these a little bit to make them more like a stew meat, or at least a little bit bigger to get them down the tube. Now, something else that I just had to do here a minute ago, and I forgot to get the recorder going again, was as the meat's going down, you can see how it kind of stops coming out. Okay? What's going on is I've got tendon or gristle caught up in here. So I'm going to reach across the top of my unit. I'm going to reverse it. And if you watch, this pusher will probably come up. Here comes the pusher. The blade's on backwards. It's reversing now. So I'm clearing it. Now let's see if it goes faster the other direction. Okay, now there's your initial speed pickup. And now we're going to get... Some of this mush here is because the meat is being pulverized, not ground. We probably still got a little bit of tendon in it. See, there we go. Now we're picking up. We'll put some stuff out. So I want to show you, that's what the reverse is for, is it helps you clean up some of that tendon and gristle that's in there. But we're well on our way. And like I said, you can still see some of this is pretty white over here. That's got a lot of fat in it. We're getting more meat in it. And when it's all done, we'll mix it up before we put our bratwurst blend in. Stir that up a little bit. Yep, that's almost like thin chocolate syrup. That's going to be pretty good. Okay, we'll keep going and I'll get back with you here shortly. Okay, I want to show you a couple of shots of this, what I'm doing here. What I'm doing is, these are the chunks that were too big. I'm just getting big enough, cutting them down enough to where they'll move into the tube. Just cutting them into almost like they would be ribs or something. When in doubt, or if you're worried about it, you can cut them down into smaller, however you want to do it. All I worry about is getting them into the grinder. Okay? So that's kind of showing you some of what I'm looking at, or how I'm doing it. Move it back over to the other clean tote. Those little chunks up there in the grinder, get them ready. See, it's got a little tendon in there. That's what I'm having to clean out when I put the machine in reverse. See, that could almost go through, but I'm trying to make this easy on me and not hard on the machine. See, so if you know you're going to do this with meat, I mean, I know we were doing the other class and I was kind of concentrating on that. Just keep that in mind and try to get your chunks down small enough to where you don't force your machine. See, we got some good fat there. I'm going to go against the grain on this one because we got tendon in there, and if you let that tendon stay long, that's what gets caught up in the blades. Some of this is still almost hard. It's still cold. We're almost done here with cutting the stuff back up so we can get back to grinding. This is what's nice about this is if you do a pig or a deer or whatever and you're not a real good butcher, you can turn the whole thing into sausage or hamburger or however you want to call it. You can grind it, you can flavor it. The only one I am not thrilled with is cutting it into breakfast sausage that has a maple taste, because then you can't do anything else with it. I like to keep everything very versatile. Okay, so we'll get back to grinding. Okay, my ADD kicked in and I just was getting bored sitting here. This is about a 3 Keith Stone job here, I think. I went ahead and I changed out the cutting cover, the blade, and this was the medium one, and I went ahead and put the large one on there. I'll get this one out of the way, just so everybody can see it. Now you can see here on the back of the blade that when you're doing this is just the fat. So it's doing really good. Apparently we cleaned out quite a bit of tendon, otherwise there'd be tendon on there. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to turn the grinder back on, put some meat in there. And you can see how much faster it's cutting because it doesn't have to push those little teeth. And there you go. Throw a little more meat in there so you can see what's going on. This is a much rougher cut. This would be like for chili and stuff like that. If you wanted it to be chili meat, just use the roughest one. Get a little more texture. I was doing the other one so I can get the fat ground up real good and be able to space it out. And there you have it, okay? Keep pulling the meat away, keep pushing through. Alright, so that's the bigger blade. I wanted to show you that though, and we'll keep going. Alright, here we are. We're at the tail end of the grinding. Just kind of letting it wind out. We'll grab the last of the meat. Pushers aren't working anymore because they bottom out. And the pushers don't actually touch that spinning corkscrew blade in there. Alright. Got my hand off here. Turn it off. Go ahead and pull this meat out. Now, I'm going to show you something I'm going to do. A lot of other people probably do. To me, it's not really that big a deal. Yeah, see, it's torqued on there. Alright. Grab this knife here. Alright, there we go. A little snug. Okay. I'm going to pull the cover off here. With this cover, I'm going to pull the meat out. Take my pusher out. I'm going to get my feed pan off. Get that off. Okay. Wipe my hands again. I'm going to unscrew my feed tube. Alright, we're done there. Okay, now, so stick my finger in the back here and push it out. Alright, now, let's set that in there like that. Reach in here and pull a little bit of meat is in here out. It's not a lot. Now, here's something I do, is this meat has not been ground yet. It was in the process of being ground. Okay, but what I'm going to do is, I'm still going to throw it in here because, see all that tendon and stuff got wrapped up around there? That was in front of the blade. Okay, I'm still going to throw it in here because this meat's going to be ground again. I'm going to use that same large blade when I get ready to do the putting the casings on. And I'll show you that here in the second half of the video again, this is a couple day process. Let me pull that out. Okay, and see there wasn't a lot of tendon on the disc here. Not real worried about what's in there. Okay, so that's that. Wipe your hands here. Set my keystone back there. All right. Now, this is quite syrupy looking. Almost looks like it's got some brown sugar in it. Tastes like bratwurst though, so that's what I'm digging. Okay, there's nothing coming up on this spoon. Okay, I'm just basically pour that in there. I'm gonna scrub down here. I'm gonna reach in there and get all those spices that didn't melt in. Right now, people would be, people like me who would be wanting to get all the flavor in there, or pour some beer in there, and then turn around and make beer brats. That's not how you make beer brats. Don't add anything to the meat. It'll make it spoil. Now, what I'm doing here is, let me get this one, get a better view. On the back side here, over here, you can see that it's soupy. Okay? What I need to do is, I need to bring all of that liquid forward and just keep stirring it and mixing it, trying to pull that liquid forward and get it into the meat. I don't want the liquid sitting on the bottom, I want it in the meat. And you just keep stirring from the outside in, inside out, however you want to do it. Okay, I'm starting to smell bratwurst, but it's not real strong. Not as strong as it will be here tomorrow. Okay. Alright, that's it. Now it's all on there. I'm probably going to cover this real quick, run up to the house, put a jalapeno in the blender, maybe two, throw it in here, add a little jalapeno in it. This will be jalapeno brats. Now you can see we got a lot of red back. All right, let me slide this out. We got a lot of red over here, a lot of white through here, a white caramel through there, some more red. This is kind of mixed well. That is what I want to get away from. I want all of the fat mixed evenly. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to end up with juicy brats and you're going to end up with dry brats. But that's why I like to pat it out. Like right now, I can't tell because the meat's all fluffy. Okay, now pack it down. This gives you a good indication of if it's mixed well. So you got more fat down here. So I'm going to roll it that way. See if I can switch the meat around. Okay. Most of these things are things that you're going to pick up on your own. It's just common sense, I think. See, we've still got, it's kind of even. There's still a little more fat over here than there was here. But a lot of that also, when I put it back inside the grinder to do the skins, there's a lot of fat right there. Let's move that over there. It's going to remix it because I'm going to stick it in like this. That is really the hard part, is doing the skinning, not this. This is just time consuming. It's only taken me a beer and a half so far to do this. I think I'm a little behind on my beer. So that's it. Okay, pat that down. I may actually wait till tomorrow to do the jalapenos, since we got a storm coming in, maybe a tornado. Maybe I'll get a video of that. Okay. Now, I want to show you something. I'm going to move this way. Okay, we zeroed our scale using this pan. So there's the scale. I'm going to tilt this down a little bit. I'm going to put this pan on there. We're going to have less than the 25 pounds. No, well, yes we are. We're going to have 24 and a half. So I ended up, the two roasts that I pulled out to make up my difference, one of them was a front shoulder roast, which has got the big scapula on it. The other one was the back ham. So we only ended up with a half a pound of loss. That is awesome. That I did not expect. I expected it to be a lot more loss than that. I figured this would be about a 23 and a half, 24 pound setup. So that's good. So it's 25 pounds of the seasoning. We end up with 24 and a half. So that's a good deal. All right. So that's it for today. What we're going to do now is tomorrow you will see us skinning it. I'll see if I can get Super Dave out here with me to help. That's a lot of fun. I know that my son Thomas is going to be upset about this. Him and his twin sister Gracie, they were about 5 when I started doing this, and now they're 9. And Thomas has always helped me do this, So he likes to run the grinder. He's been running the grinder since he was 6. Prior to that, he was just kind of watching, and we were going from there. So now he's 9. He's missed this episode, but he'll be all right. He'll survive. I think that what we're gonna need to do is I got 2 more pigs to go. Maybe the next set of pigs that I get, I'll make sure that I got 25 pounds, and we'll do Italian sausage. Try that out so that Thomas can get his hands in there, and I'll video that, or I'll do a video reply on this one for that. All right, so that's it for today. Now this is gonna sit all night. I'm gonna put saran wrap over the top. I'm gonna put it back in the fridge. It's gonna sit and let those spices soak in. Tomorrow we'll do skins. I'll show you the skins here in just a second. Okay, here's the LEM natural hog casings. They don't always have to be LEM. I just like them when they're like this and they're just sitting in salt and they're kind of dehydrated like that. I like them like that. They have a dry one that you have to rehydrate. They're okay. I have not had a lot of really good luck with those. Those tend to break. I don't know if it's because I don't hydrate them long enough or they just get weak when they get dehydrated. But these are packed in salt. I'll have to rinse these. So tomorrow when I come down, immediately the first thing I will do is pull these out, put them in probably in this big pitcher of water, get them soaking, rinse them, and then I'll rinse them completely out, dump the water, I'll rinse each casing out, put it back in there, and we'll go from there. Any leftover meat, if we have any from this that is after the casings are gone, I will not open another case of casings. What I will do is I will make little sausage patties like I would for breakfast, and we'll just have little bratwurst patties so people can sample it at a barbecue. All right, so tomorrow we'll get back in here and we'll check this out and we'll do the casings. All right, here we go. Okay, here we are, day 2 of the bratwurst. I just pulled the bratwurst out of the fridge. It's got a little ice on it here. The fridge is cold. The meat's pretty firm. We're going to stir this up here in a minute. I got Super Dave here with me to give me a hand, but that's just a quick look at the meat. We're going to stir it again. I'm going to set this down here on the chair so I don't knock it over. Now also, I took my skins and I had to unknot them, and right now they're just sitting in here rehydrating in a thing of water. And you can see they are nothing but, let me get the end here. Okay, maybe I had the wrong end first. Look, it's a magic trick. Okay. So 2, 4, 6 feet already. 7, 8.
That's way more than a foot.
9, 10. I'm doing them by 2s. 11, 12 foot of bratwurst that one's going to be. So now I've got to skin this on this tube. Here's a side angle shot. I'm going to do a close up here in a second, and I'll show you. That's going to take me a couple minutes per tube to get those tubes on there, but I want you to see that. What we're really going to do is once we get going, we get these tubes on there, I'll show you what we're doing. Dave's going to start loading from the top. Grab his pusher here, throw that up in there. We're just going to make them, spin them, and then we've got our big, my Sam's tote here, and we'll go from there. So let me get this thing ready, and I'll start putting it on, and I'll have a zoomed in camera for you. Okay, now first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my intestines here, my skins. I'm going to take a peek at them. I want to try to start with my bigger end. This looks like my bigger end. This is kind of a pain. You've got to find where the tube is. See, right now it just looks like a shoestring. There it is. Alright. And I'll put a little water on it, put a little water on the tube. I'm kind of try, I lost it. Just going to peel it back. There we are. And all I'm trying to do here is evenly skin this on here. Every time it tries to go sideways, and that's it. You just keep getting it on there. Every time it tries to, see how it tries to walk off one side or the other, that's because the intestine turns. and this can slide back some. You just steer it by pulling that side a little more.
Can you use vegetable oil on doing that?
I guess you could. I'm sure somebody will comment and let us know. Now you don't want to use your nails or anything real hard. Again, this is really thin skin, and I'm sure that we're going to tear some. When we do, I'll show you what we do there, because I already know what's going to happen. But we're just going to keep skinning it on there, and like I said, I probably got another 10 feet to go. That's probably only a couple feet I've got going there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to skin this all on there, and then we're going to start loading it with meat and kind of show you how we're doing it. Okay, so I'll get this process finished. I'm not going to sit there and make you watch me do this for the next 15 minutes. All right. Okay, me and Dave are playing with a couple of ideas. One is there's supposed to be a table on top of that bandsaw, and since the saw isn't on there, we just took that out of the equation. We'll move the meat up there, so it's out of the way. We verify that it will clear the wheel down in there with the belt. He can feed from up there, and then the chair that we had the meat sitting on a minute ago, we put my tote on that, so we're just going to keep running like that. And we'll keep going, but this is going a lot faster than it was. I'll get you some specs on this here and put it in the notes. Alright, we're coming up on the tail end of this. Let me show you something here. I call this one pulling to you. When you twist, you got to keep in mind that you got to remember to, every other sausage you have to twist in opposite direction, or you want to twist the one before it. This bandsaw table grinder is working a hell of a lot better than the tabletop. I don't think it's a fair match. I'm sure the motor on this is quite a bit bigger. So we did have some that got a serious air bubble in there. We got a little bit of air in this one, but not like that one. And all I did was I tried to twist the air out. We got an air bubble in the middle somewhere. That last casing that had the big air bubble in it, it was every bit of 12 foot long. So we'll just keep going with this, but I want to show you the twist. Now the last twist, I twisted back. So on this one, I just twist forward, do it kind of quickly. 2 or 3 twists. That'll make the front twist even more. Since I twisted forward on that one, I'll twist backward on this next one. Yeah, this has gone a hell of a lot faster this way. One of the things we're going to look at is this deal here that Dave's dealing with, where you put the meat in. The other one we have has a tray, so you don't have to worry about spilling the meat. This is more like a grinder. You just dump chunks of meat in there and it sucks it down. Yeah, we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to come up with a tray. I'm probably going to go on the manufacturer's website and see what they got. Here's what I would forget, which way I went. I'm going to go this way, faster. So you can see, I mean, Dave's just barely putting any weight on it. It's just filling up here. This is what is it, 24 and a half pounds of bratwurst looks like. Here's what it looks like when you go the wrong way. It's got a crease but it doesn't finish. Alright, I think Dave's gonna have to stop here in a minute. I got one more short skin we'll use. I'll go and kill it. Tie this one up.
Down there before I kill it.
Alright, and all I'm going to do do with this one here is I'm just going to pull it off. It's a short one. Just tie a real simple knot in it. Alright, Dave's got enough for one of my short ones down here. We'll try that out. We'll finish that out real quick and we'll show you what we got. Alright, you can see it's already pushing. Dave's not even pushing on it yet. So go ahead, Dave. That's just barely pushing. All I do is I tie a little knot in the end. When you first start out, you want to burp this first, get all the air out. But that's it. This should clean up this last one. And there's our entire tote. Set it down here on it. Now, something that we've been talking about was the recipe called for 20% fat. I don't think we had 20% fat. I'm going to have to go to my local grocery store and see if they can give me the leftover fat. I'll start freezing that up, saving that. Since we don't have probably the fat content that we wanted for this, what I'll probably have to do is we'll mark these for beer brats. And when you make beer brats, my son-in-law Scott, he basically takes Shinerbach beer, puts it in a big stock pot, gets it to boiling with some onions and some garlic, and just throws his brats in there, and that's how he cooks them. That's how he does his beer brats. I think that'll help out. That'll keep these moist, and they won't be so dry. We've made some before, and they were a little dry. We probably should have made beer brats out of them. So that's it. We don't have much farther to go, and we will show you what it looks like here in a minute when it's all bagged up. Alright, here we are. We're done with the bratwurst. Got all the stuff, all the grinders kind of tore apart and soaking in the sink in some water. Now what we do, we divvy everything up so everybody kind of gets what they need. I typically take the bigger bags. This is 4.5 pounds, 3.75, 3.5, so on and so forth. Dave will take some of the smaller bags, the 2.5s. He's got a bunch of 2s, 2.5, yeah, 2 2s, 2 2.5s. So he'll take those. I'll take these. I kind of keep some of the smaller 1 pound and 1.5 pound bags around here. We've got some people that kind of get down on their luck. We like to help them out whenever we can. Plus a couple of single mothers and smaller families, that kind of stuff. Now what we used was the LEM Backwoods Bratwurst. Again, we mentioned it a couple of times, I think, that we did not have the fat content we needed. I'm going to try to get with my local grocery store and get some more fat, start saving that up so we can do that, and that'll also help our sausage go farther. So because of that, we have designated these as beer brats. And the reason is because when you boil them in the beer with the onions and garlic or whatever, it keeps them moist so they won't be dried out. Okay? Now, when we do, we put them in Ziploc bags, freezer bags. We push as much air out as we can. This is 1.5 pound beer brats and the date. That's very important that you write down what it is and the dates. Otherwise, you're going to start throwing out a bunch of meat because you're not going to know what it is. On the hog casings, I use the natural hog casings from LEM again. We did not use them all. So what I did was I just kind of strained a bunch of the water off, pulled them out, put them back in their original bag. There's still a bunch of salt in there. It's a Ziploc bag. I'm just going to press as much of the air out as possible. And I'm going to throw this back in the freezer so we don't waste these. These are a couple of bucks. So we don't want to waste anything. So that's it. I know I've got a birthday party later on this week. I'll probably take a 4.5 pound bag of beer brats, throw them in a pot, do those. Everybody will kind of get a kick out of that. Put the others in the freezer for later on in the year. Dave will take these for his family. He's got bigger boys but smaller numbers, so he'll take those, and then I'll put these away in the freezer for whoever else. Well, that's it. I'm gonna pull up some review stuff on some of the different equipment we've got, so I can list what's in what equipment we used, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, thanks a lot. See you again.